We start the podcast off with a little freestyle.
Oh yeah, I'm not. I got a lot of skills, but a rapper is not one of them. But I admire it. I mean, I listen to a lot of Eminem to get started, but I feel like it's an art, like learning how to use language in a way to convey yourself, especially through rap. Like I feel like people just don't understand how intelligent it is.
They don't. My auntie, right? I don't see her that much because I couldn't wait to move out as a kid, but she was like, oh, you want to be a rapper? Don't be a rapper. And I was like, you guys see me, front stage headline in Lollapalooza. She was like, no, I'm not. And then she was like, back in their day, rap wasn't even considered a skill.
Yeah.
Remember that? My auntie was like, and I was just like, wow, like you can't even talk to people like that because their frame is too far gone. You just gotta like double down on your beliefs.
100%.
Whenever you're ready.
You ready?
Yeah, I'm trying to see where I should put the phone just so you can hear the.
I just set it right there.
Okay.
The one that's playing the beat. Wish I brought speakers. 3, 2, 1. Just make sure you keep the mic. Yeah. Yo. Eating this celery. Feeling this glow. Catch me outside. I'm not in Chicago, no snow. I'm out in Gainesville, FL for show. My homie John, he gonna show me how to the Treehouse show. We out in the grass, out in the trees. I'm feeling with free. Deep breath, feeling the breathe. See the wind, feeling the breeze. Florida, not in the Keys. See me sitting down, get a seat. Still got the green hair, Steez. Might catch him outside, he might eat some leaves. Cause he plant-based too, but he lift weights. Yeah, he that phase 2. He in phase 2, then he phase 3, we level up. But I'm gonna pass it to the right, and he gonna show y'all what's up.
I don't know how to rap, but I'm gonna hit you with this little tap.
Okay.
Maybe after this podcast, I'll take a nap.
I know that's right.
Oh man.
Welcome, and we finna start. Let's get it. Shout out Juju on the beat.
I appreciate you putting me into possibly what might be like the most uncomfortable thing to me. Singing and dancing, I don't do. I haven't done because it's uncomfortable. But that's where we learn. That's where we grow. You were saying how your aunt, she didn't think you could rap or didn't really support it. And I know it's probably, does your aunt love you?
She says she does,
She
man.
says she does.
I think she does, but just like an old head, like that generation, she's like almost 980.
Yeah.
They're just like, they don't see certain things that you love.
And probably for her, it's just like that limiting belief of you can't do this, or it's not a career, or it's not gonna be the best for you. So she probably wants the best for you, but like that's part of us figuring out what is the best for us is by doing it. And so doing new things are uncomfortable things. So thank you for throwing me out there.
Hey man, that I love that to be my first impression. It's like make you uncomfortable in the best way possible.
Yeah, that's where we grow.
Let's get it, man. But welcome back to the Treehouse Show. You just listened to a high vibrational freestyle. This is the first podcast I've done outside in a different state. So shout out to the Treehouse Show.
First podcast I've done in the sun.
In the sun. Listen, there is a first time for everything. And yeah, I just appreciate John here for giving me the experience to experience different stuff. Also make me uncomfortable in a way that grows me.
There we go.
So kudos to you. But really today, I don't know where this conversation is going to take us, but I have such a good feeling about it because the way we met was in such a aligned way, I feel like. I feel like none of us was, not that we were reaching, but we were just attracting. And the alignment came in the aspect of just a similar lifestyle, similar goals as far as fitness, as far as beliefs, as far as diet, and us both having an appreciation, shout out Kel, my name, for that guest and just what he does and what he means, you know, truly an example to be inspired by. So that's what brought us here today is attraction and alignment. So I just want to shout that out. But I'm super excited to see where this is gonna go. Again, we're gonna get it started. I'm gonna let my wonderful guest today, if you all don't already know him, introduce himself. Name, age, fun fact, and relationship status.
Name, John Thomas. But I go by the Bodybuilding Vegan. I've worked for that name. I feel like John Thomas is a very white generic name. I went to the University of Florida and I went to check something out and they're like, which one are you? There's 5 John Thomases currently enrolled. I'm like, that's wonderful. Age, I'm 33 years young.
Jesus.
And then it was name, age, and relationship.
Name, age, fun fact.
Oh,
Well,
fun fact. Fun fact. Okay. Fun fact. I actually really enjoy running, or I used to. That's what I used to do before I got into wrestling, before I got into bodybuilding. And I started bodybuilding for 18 years, and I've never publicly said this, but I might be getting back into running. Like it's in my mind. And usually I've noticed, once I think about something, the thoughts don't go away until I do it. So maybe one day, maybe next episode we'll be doing something different. We'll do a running podcast.
A running, just like, have Juju there with like tracking the camera. Yeah.
Get a bike for her so she doesn't have to run.
Right. Or like get those automatic like trolleys, golf carts.
There we go.
She's just like.
My brother-in-law just bought a golf cart. He could do it. We could make it happen.
I love it. So speaking about making it happen, could you tell us a bit about Vegan Squad?
Yes. I can't miss the other part. Relationship status. I'll get killed for that. Happily in a committed relationship. Actually, fun fact, PR. I just hit a PR in a relationship 2 years.
I didn't know you could do that.
I didn't know I could do that, and I also didn't know that was a thing. I've had 7 relationships go beyond 1 year, and this is the first one to ever hit 2. So I did a lot of growth in my past. I've always moved at a very fast pace, and I've dated some incredible people. But this one with Ali is the first one that's hit 2 years, and that was actually 11 days ago. So we finally hit 2 years, and it's because, this is kind of the funny part, she's a giant pain in my ass. Every single day, she, not just for her, not to make the relationship better for her, but for me, she'll tell me like, you should believe in yourself on this, or you can do better here, or I want you to be positive even when things are dark. You can be the light even if the world feels like it's too heavy to carry. You can still be that light. You can still help that for other people. And yeah, I mean, she's helped me heal a lot of traumas and a lot of areas that I needed to still work on myself. But the reason I'm here with you today, the way you see me, she's a big part of that. So I told her for as long as I have something to offer for her, and as long as she's still difficult for me, the day that it feels easy, I'm probably out. So it's been a ride, but like, I don't mean difficult like fighting. I mean difficult like when I don't want to be my best self, she mirrors that back to me and shows me what I would be doing if I was my best self, including taking some big risks and coming on shows like this and just continue to be myself even when the world sometimes felt like maybe it was too much or something like that.
Yeah.
So. Actually, that ties right back in. Yeah, shout out Ali. It ties right back into Vegan Squad. So I've been an online coach for 5 years. I've been a vegan bodybuilder. I've been vegan for 20, bodybuilding for 18. And that is what helped me lead into deciding I want to help other people. It started as a goal to really just pay to have my own coach. I was like, if I can get a few clients, I can pay for my coach. That was as far as I thought it out, but now it's become my full-time career, and now I lead a team of coaches. We've got 25 people on the team, 15 of which are coaches. And it all started June of last year. I went on a hike with Ali and my other 2 friends you met, Alex and Melissa. And I was like, man, we're all coaches, but like we don't do it together. We're all like isolated, like individual. We should do this together. We should create the Vegan Squad. And like I said, once I have an idea, I can't stop thinking about it until I do it. Within a month, I found someone else, one of my clients, Maya, that was working a full-time job and they weren't really appreciating her. And I said, what would it take for you to quit right now and walk away? What do I got to pay you to come start this business with me? She threw out a number and it was a little bit more than I wanted, but I was like, fuck it, let's go. And before I sent the message to her, I looked at Ali and I said, do you believe I can do this? Do you believe like this is possible? She didn't hesitate, she didn't think, she didn't breathe, she just said yes. And that was the start of Vegan Squad. Now we've helped about 100 people to date. We've got, like I said, 15 coaches in different countries around the world. We've had clients in like 12 different countries around the world, mostly in the United States, but our goal is to help people that want to go vegan. And for the people that are already vegan, that want to get more fit and show the world how vibrant you can be on a plant-based diet, how great you can feel, how you can find a new community of people, new recipes, new ways to live, improve your digestion, but also save the animals, and really, as we'll get into this later, save the world. I don't believe in a non-vegan world. I don't believe it's possible. I don't believe, actually, it's not even belief, scientifically, we can't continue to eat meat at the rate that we have been if we want to have a place for our children or even grandchildren. So yeah, Allie helped me believe in myself enough to make this decision to be actually the hardest thing I've ever done in my life, but we're here. We're still in the grind. We're still in the trenches right now. We're still a startup. We're still figuring it out, but every day there's a lot of good people working on this, and so I want to keep showing up for them.
It hit different when people depend on you.
I got a vasectomy at 25.
Damn.
I never wanted to have children. I feel like I got 25 kids. I feel like I got 25 mouths to feed. The things that keep me awake at night are no longer, can I take care of myself, or am I good enough about this, or is the world going to collapse? It's like, can I feed these 25 people? Can I make sure I'm providing for my team that has, we've had 6 people quit their full-time jobs to start this. I've got over 10 people working 40 plus hours a week on this. Some of them are pulling 80 hours a week like me. Alex, he doesn't clock in or clock out. He's just in. And so it's terrifying. I've never been this scared before, because when it's just me, can I survive? It's like, whatever. I'll try to figure it out. I'll be okay. But when you know somebody else needs your money for rent or for food, and I'm not even talking just here. One of my most loyal team members, David Omini, shout out to him. He's in Africa. He has to get a post out on time. He helps manage some of my social media. He walked 3 hours to another city because he had been out without power for 3 days in his city in Africa, and said he needed to get it up on time, and he was going to go walk to the next city to charge his portable devices, like his portable chargers, to get this up. He's not taken a day off in 2 years. Not once. I haven't asked him to work this many days, but every single morning I get an update, a report, and what he's working on that day. And so it's for him that I keep moving forward. Of course, like, at first it was for the animals and for like my own, like I wanted to be able to pay my own bills, but now I've got those mouths to feed, and I put that pressure on myself every day, and sometimes it's a lot. But I'm also very grateful for this. I don't really want to be the leader. You seen Lord of the Rings?
Why you gotta say that, man? You gonna make me emotional.
Yeah?
That's my favorite movie, the trilogy.
Who's your favorite character?
It's hard. Aragorn.
Oh, okay. I used to love Legolas. He got that.
Same.
The hair and the bow and the skills and the moves. He's cool, but he says like 3 words in the whole movie, and he's a fighter. But rewatching it again with Allie, because she had never seen it, I see Aragorn picking up the sword, and he doesn't want to. He doesn't want it, but he doesn't see anybody else do it, so he knows he has to.
He has to.
I don't want this. I would love it so much if tomorrow I woke up, the whole world's vegan. Nobody needed me to coach them for vegan bodybuilding. Nobody needed to be inspired to go plant-based or vegan. I would love to have an identity crisis tomorrow, because there's not a crisis to solve.
Wow.
I would love that. I don't want to be in the spotlight. I'm actually more of an introvert. So doing stuff like this, it's gotten easier because I've done it so many times.
Okay.
But I don't really want this role. I don't want, it's almost like would a fireman say, I can't wait for somebody's house to catch on fire so I can do my job. Yeah. Or a soldier to say, I can't wait for a war to break out so I can go fight this war. But I feel like there is a war on our planet right now, a war on our animals and a war on our people. And if people like Aragorn don't step up and do something to make this world a better place before they're gone, I'm afraid we're going to be cast into darkness until we find out whatever comes after dinosaurs, after people. Like, this is our shot. I don't want this. I don't want a spotlight. I don't want followers, but I want the world to change. And I feel like I woke up today and this is what I have. These are the tools and the resources I have. So like, it would be foolish not to use it.
Irresponsible.
Irresponsible, because I feel like if you have the ability to help others, especially others without a voice, why wouldn't you?
It's gonna be a good podcast. It's gonna be a good podcast, brother. Yeah, I'm already loving it, man. Got giving me the chills. But speaking of Lord of the Rings, there's a journey. So we start off in the Shire. Life is nice. Everybody's partying, getting drunk. Then it's like life shit get real. You know, we're going to Bree, they go to Rivendell, the Fellowship. You know. But basically, like, what's your Lord of the Rings story? Like, where did it all begin for John?
Well, I had two very awesome parents. They always, for the most part, supported me in everything I did. I think things that really built my character on this journey. I think I had a strong sense of ethics and morality from a young age, even though a lot of it was pushed down somewhat by society about what was right or what was wrong or how you're supposed to conform or not. I was bullied a lot as a kid. I think that's why I became a bodybuilder. I think somewhere in my head I thought, you know, in high school even, like, if I can get so big that nobody wants to, like, fight me, like, not learn fighting skills, something practical, just get so big that nobody wants to fight you. Like, you know, it's an illusion. And then just, you know, get big enough to where, like, people don't want to pick on you, which is so funny because the opposite happened once I got larger and then started putting myself online. I get so much hate. Like, there's hate every day. And that's okay, though. Like, I'm like, you guys have nothing on the stuff I went through in elementary and middle school. Like, those guys knew how to fuck with me, but you can't really get me. So I was bullied a lot. I think that
Why did they bully you?
In a lot of ways. So I got big teeth, and I've learned to, like, that's just what I got. Maybe one day I'll get it fixed, maybe I won't. I used to have, thanks to my dad, I had a rat tail. So my dad always had a ponytail. Growing up, before going to school, I had a rat tail. I went to school right when, like, Star Wars Episode 1 came out. And they're like, oh, you're like Anakin, or not Anakin, Obi-Wan. You got the hair like that, you're cool. I was like, oh yeah, that's why I did it. Like, before I even saw the movie. But then it wasn't cool, and then I'd get made fun of a lot for that. I think just looking different, people didn't give you a chance to, like, learn who you were, and then it was always an easy target. And so even people I didn't know would bully me. And, like, how, like, usually name calling, that was the majority, but you get enough people around you calling your name, then somebody hits you, slams you on a desk, slaps you in the face, punches you in the chest while you're trying to sleep on a school field trip. Oh, like, God. Things like that had happened, and it even carried on. It carried on throughout school, throughout elementary school, middle school. By the end of middle school, I cut my hair, but people, it's crazy. In high school, would still bring yearbooks from elementary and middle school to, like, make fun of me at a different high school. Oh my God. So I think I had, like, this need to develop some thick skin and actually get a little bit bigger and things like that. But that's okay. Like, there were a lot of good workouts I had thinking about the shit that I went through. And I'm like, now I have perspective, and it takes time to get perspective. And I think if that kid needed to treat me like that to feel good about themselves, what was their home life like? What was happening between their dad and their mom? Or did they have a dad or a mom? Like, that's the way I look at it now. Like, yes, I needed protection. Like, one of the teachers saw me getting chased and, like, just kind of watched. And then later was like, are you okay? And I'm like, dude, like, it was 4 people on one. Like, you're just, like, watching it happen. Like, okay, I realized I was on my own with this. But now I look back and I'm like, I hope those kids got some help. Because if that was what they felt, and the same with the people now, like, people are like, how do you deal with all these haters, these trolls online? I'm like, man, if somebody has enough time and energy to just go leave a negative or a hateful comment on any post, like, it could be a post about cars or bodybuilding or weight loss or transformation, it doesn't really matter what you cook for dinner. If somebody has the time and energy to go say something negative, it's like, man, what kind of world do you live in where you don't have something positive to do with yourself? Go make something, make a podcast, make your own food. Why take the time out of you're wasting your life to bring other people down? You probably need some help. You probably need some love. So being bullied a lot, I think, put me on a path to having more empathy. I think you can, and when life happens to you, you can use it to grow, or you can use it as an excuse to not grow. And so instead of me bullying other people, like, if I ever joke about somebody, I'll never joke about how they look. I'll never joke about that. Because I'm like, to an extent, you can't control how you look. Like, how your hair is or how your teeth are. Like, maybe you can, maybe not. But like really, is how you look a reflection on your character? I'll make fun of you if you do something silly, but like I try not to put people down with that. Like if that makes sense. Like I'm not out here like, oh, you look at your hair, look at your face, like you got this messed up, you got a mole. Like I don't know. I feel like if you're gonna joke with somebody, it should be from a different angle. All that to say, I was actually standing right down there at my parents' house 23 years ago by this yellow slide. My best friend came over, and she changed my life forever. Her mom had bought us some McDonald's hamburgers because she'd come over after school, we'd play, and she pointed at me and she said, if you eat that hamburger, you're killing a cow. And I remember, and I know other people probably go through this, probably some people listening to this episode, if I pointed at you and said, you're killing an animal by what's in your hand, you're killing them, you're going to get angry. I got angry. I was like, why are you judging me? Why is this my fault? Your mom bought the food. My parents say it's okay. All these excuses came to the surface, a little bit of anger. But I think the anger was a shield or a wall behind the truth of, logically, how is she wrong? Like, you can't, I remember thinking about it, like, well, one hamburger's not a whole cow. I was like, but can you take a hamburger without a cow? What a lot of people don't know is one hamburger probably has anywhere from 100 to 1,000 different cows in it. Every glass of milk has over 1,000 cows' milk in it. Yes. Yes.
It's not from one cow.
It's not from one cow. No, it's thrown in giant industrial shredders for the meat, and for the milk, it's put in these giant vats. So you're taking one glass of milk and drinking a little bit of milk from 1,000 different cows. Unless I guess you go to like a little local farm or something like that. But anything you're getting commercially, And so I didn't know all that at the time. All I knew that like, shoot, she's probably right. And it didn't sit well with me. I didn't really like that. I didn't really like thinking and knowing that a cow was forced to be killed for me to be able to eat this hamburger. I didn't change anything then, but I started thinking about it. And she told me she was going to do this thing called going vegetarian. I was like, well, I'm already getting made fun of for the way my hair looks, the way my teeth look. I'm damn well not going to label myself as a vegetarian. I remember on our 5th grade safety patrol trip, they said, all right, raise your hand if you have special dietary needs. Are there any vegetarians in the class? There's like 200 of us sitting on the court outside, and one Indian girl raised her hand, and I'm sitting here like, fuck no, don't say it. Don't say it, just blend in. And so on that trip, I still feel a little bit guilty for this. They gave me a chicken sandwich, I threw it away. Because I had decided I wasn't going to eat chicken. I wasn't going to eat hamburgers, aka cows. I wasn't going to eat pigs. I wasn't going to eat any of these animals except for fish and turkey. Because then I don't have to label myself as a vegetarian. And I thought maybe I'll be like the Native Americans. I'm sitting at Captain D's eating this this fish, this like fried fish. I take a bite and I say, thank you, fish, for your life. I take a bite, thank you, fish. I'm going to be like the Native Americans. I take a bite and I'm like, wouldn't it just be easier to like not take bites and not say thank you and just eat something else? So no fish, but I'm still not a vegetarian because that's too extreme. And Thanksgiving comes around, I go to the table to make my plate. I get the green beans, mashed potatoes, and there is a whole animal sitting in front of me on the table. And I'm like, if I'm not going to eat cows, chickens, pigs, sheep, goats, fish, why am I going to kill you? And that day, I decided I'm vegetarian. And I still didn't tell people, but I was. And I thought that was it. And then my mom has taken me to middle school 3 years later. And I had been vegetarian the whole time, no problems. And she gave me this magazine from this place called PETA.
Never heard of it.
Never heard of it. At the time, I was like, I think I've heard some weird things, but I don't really know much. And the article said something along the lines of why vegetarians aren't doing enough, or why vegetarianism isn't enough. And I go in like, I'm gonna wreck some minds. Like, I'm gonna tell this journalist how they don't know that milk doesn't kill. You don't have to kill a cow to get milk. You don't have to kill chickens or hens, the roosters to get eggs. Like, come on, dude, how stupid are you? I get like 4 paragraphs in and I'm like, oh shit. And I look at my mom and I'm like, I think I need to go vegan. And she's like, what? And I'm like, well, all the cows that make the milk, they take their babies every time. They don't get to stay with their moms because they need to take the milk for the people. But really, like, I was concerned about the hamburgers. Where do you think a dairy cow goes once they can't get any milk out of it? You think it goes out somewhere like this? You think they're gonna pay money for a cow to go live their life? Hamburger. And then I learned about the egg laying industry because I still eat eggs as a vegetarian. I'm like, well, eggs can't be that bad, right? Well, at these large facilities, what do they do with male chicks? If it's an egg laying facility, when you have a male chick, are you gonna pay money to feed it, take care of? No, so what they do is they wait for them to hatch so they can sex them. You get male chicks and female chicks. All the males go in a conveyor belt. And that conveyor belt goes into an industrial shredder. Within 6 minutes of their life, they are shredded. And honestly, it's better because if they're female, they get to grow up on steroids and hormones, grow fast, get put into a very small cage where they cut their beaks off so that they can't peck each other to death. They live their entire life inside of a little crated cage. And once they stop laying eggs, there's your chicken sandwich. So at 13, I knew that day. I still had a non-vegan lunch. I remember eating Go-Gurt. That was a thing back then, 20 years ago. But I knew for the same reasons I went vegetarian, I needed to go vegan. And I thought that would be the right way to live my life. And I didn't put it out there, though. I did not have vegan tattooed on the side of my head. I didn't have a vegan shirt. I thought, this is my choice. This is for me. And maybe I'll let people know, like, after they know me for a while. Like, they'll get to know me for 6 months or a year. And that would happen. People would be like, hey, do you want this? We got some pizza. I'm like, I've known you for a year. I'm at work. No, actually, I'm good. I'm not hungry. I'm like, what do you mean? Like, I haven't seen you eat right now. Like, come have a slice. Have a slice. I'm going to give you a slice. Take home. I'm like, really, James, I'm actually vegan. No, you're not. I saw you eat a ham sandwich last week. I was actually like tofurkey. And they're like, no way. Like, there's no way. And I was like, I am. How long? This month? No, it's been like 8 or 9 years. And I would blow people's minds. And I thought maybe if they liked me, maybe if they thought I was nice, maybe if I didn't judge them, maybe if I led by example, they would hear me. No, it doesn't. Just leading by example is not enough. It didn't really change a whole lot of minds. It made me feel safe because I was protected. I didn't have to put myself out there. I didn't have to fail. I didn't have to be different. But I also wasn't making change. And so the part where I like to flip the script now is, in the way that I live my life now, is imagine we're not here on this podcast, right? Imagine I'm still in this state, in Florida. Imagine we take a trip about, I don't know, 200 years back. It's 1823. And I wake up and I'm in my normal life. I'm the head of a household. We'll say that. I got my wife, I got my kids, and I got my slaves out back. And my neighbor, he has slaves. And the rest of the state has slaves, and it's legal. But I wake up and I have this epiphany. Black people have feelings too. Black people aren't dumb and stupid. Black people deserve freedom. We all want freedom. We all want freedom of choice. You know what? I can't be a part of this anymore. I'm going to go free my slaves. I'm not going to buy any more. I'm done with slavery. But, you know, slavery is a personal choice. I shouldn't tell other people how to live their lives. It's a journey, right? Like, my friends, my family, my neighbors, they need to wake up on their own time when it's right for them. And maybe they'll go slave free. Maybe they'll get their weekends off for their slaves, or they'll do slave free Mondays. And they won't speak up for them because let's not be preachy. Let's not be judgy. Let's let people discover things on their own terms. Slavery's not really killing anyone right now. Well, maybe I'm too ashamed to be against slavery, so I'm just going to keep it to myself. And I asked myself, like, what would like the answer to be 200 years ago? I like to believe that I would be fighting against slavery. I like to believe I would be loud and vocal, not just silent. And then so I turn this back on to anybody watching or anyone listening. And if you knew that animals were being killed and you knew that you had a personal choice to stop eating them as yourself, and if you are actually vegan, would you want to speak as loud as you would speak up for human rights as well? And so that's how I live my life now. I get into a lot of uncomfortable conversations. I deal with family, friends, legality. It's still legal to kill animals in the right ways, in the right ones. Mm-hmm. And it goes even deeper. if we want to go.
Yeah, no,
So if the animals don't do it for you, sure, okay. If we don't believe that animals have consciousness or freedom of will, or animals eat other animals, so it's okay for us to abuse them. Okay, fine. We can take it a single step further. When we look at factory farming in the United States, probably also worldwide, but I know more about the United States. When we look at the slaughterhouses, there's two groups of humans that typically work in slaughterhouses. One, illegal immigrants. Two, prisoners on parole. So if I come to you and I say, hey, whether or not this is right, you've been in prison for 8 years. If you want to get out now and go work 2 years in a slaughterhouse, you're going to kill 300 to 500 cows a day, but you're going to get your freedom back. But you have to clock in for work. Would you do it? Is that even really a choice? Is it really a choice when it's live in prison or get to work at a factory farm but have your own house and go home at the end of the day? I don't really feel like that's a choice. I feel like that's a clever form of slavery. And so when we look at who works in slaughterhouses so that everyone can have their hamburgers, everyone can have their chicken sandwiches, who, as far as humans, are paying the toll there? Prisoners being let out on parole and illegal undocumented immigrants. Those are the people killing these animals. And do we want to talk about numbers? We kill, in the United States, 25 million animals per day.
what?
Per day, in the United States alone. We kill 90 plus billion land animals per year. Once you add in aquatic life, trillions. The numbers don't even make sense. Like the Holocaust is 6 to 12 million people, depending upon how you look at it. And we have that on an animal field every single day in the United States. And so from a human rights issue, let's look at those slaughterhouse workers. Maybe this is right. Maybe it was somebody that deserved to be in prison. We're actually giving them a break. You know, they committed some big crime, maybe assault, burglary, and we're giving them a second chance. Okay, great. Well, what does that second chance come with? An increased rate of PTSD, drug abuse, spousal abuse, and suicide.
Because that's traumatizing.
It's traumatizing. How many animals have you killed with your bare hands?
Nothing. I did grow up in Senegal, which is a Muslim country. There was a sheep, and then once a year on the festival called Tabaski, my dad would like, because it's like we're eating this sheep, you got to see it die.
Mm-hmm.
So I would see it get like, but I would cringe and like, I didn't like it. But me personally, I didn't kill, but that was the closest I got to seeing the animal get slaughtered.
So you've seen death. And look at how you made you feel. Not even holding the knife or pulling the trigger. Imagine pulling the trigger or holding the knife multiple times per day, multiple days in a row, getting covered in blood, hearing the screams, watching them cry. And so from a human rights issue, more reason to eat plant-based, even if you don't care about animals. Then at the end of the day, even if you just care about yourself or your own family's future, we cannot sustain the planet eating this many animals. Or if we cared about some people but not others, what about people starving to death? We have almost, worldwide, some of the studies I've seen, close to 1 billion people go through periods of food insecurity. But we find ways to feed 90 billion animals per year, food that is about 70% consumable by humans. Like we could feed about 70% of what we feed to animals to humans. We could literally, in an instant, stop killing 90 billion animals overnight and feed every single human on the planet that needs food. So, a lot of people hate vegans. A lot of people hate on vegans. A lot of people will say that we're preachy or judgy. Look, I wasn't vegan my whole life. And honestly, I wasn't an activist either. So I've got some vegans in this house that have been activists for longer than me. Even though I've been vegan 20 years, they've been an activist for 5. I'm like, you've done more for this than I have. And so I'm just trying to make up for lost time. I wish I had found my voice sooner. I wish I had gotten uncomfortable, try to rap on a podcast and come on a podcast and meet people like yourself and put this out there. Not for me. I don't want the clout. I don't want the followers. I want the world to wake up and see that we all have the ability to shape this. If you believe in yourself, if you believe in change, this is something anyone can do. Like, I'm not exceptional. At 13, I was eating French fries because I knew that that didn't have animals. I knew that I wasn't having to kill someone for this meal. And nowadays, there's so many options. Depending on the country you live in, I just had a wonderful conversation with somebody at 20 in Italy that decided she's going vegan, and she's like, there's no options. I'm like, well, I see celery, I see carrots. There's always at least fruits, vegetables, nuts, seeds, grains, and then we can build on it from there. So I feel like I've rambled a lot. I would love to give you a chance to speak on your own podcast.
No. Welcome to the Treehouse Show. I just like to learn. So I'm just a listener. So, and you just open up my eyes in so many ways. So thank you for feeling vulnerable to say those things, because a lot of people get a lot of information beat up over their head, but they don't get the face behind the information. So it falls on deaf ears. So when people see people like you, people see people like me, people see people like Juju, we all stand for the same thing, but it comes in a different avatar.
Yes.
And that's what people resonate with. It's less of the info, it's more of the person.
Yeah. Don't judge a book by its cover.
Yeah. Talk about a theme. Talk about a theme. Is that something that, like, okay, you put on this muscle, walk me through how that changed your life or how it changed your perception of yourself?
Yeah, so I started this muscular journey, I think, like I said, kind of as like a defense mechanism, a shield, something that could protect me or make me less of an easy target. But it's not easy to build muscle. Ask anyone that's tried.
Especially not vegan.
I'm gonna fight you there, and we'll come back to that.
Okay.
I got some information for you there.
This one I'm okay.
But it's not easy to build muscle, vegan or not.
Right.
In the sense that, like, it's easy to watch a football game. It's easy to watch Netflix. It's easy to not do your steps or not follow a meal plan or not take yourself to the gym. But building muscle is hard. It's not even like fat loss. You can lose fat just by not eating. To build muscle, you have to actually put in time and lift heavy weights. And so I thought the muscle would make me less of a target, but what I realized is the process of building that muscle. And I think any athlete in any sport can have this. The process of being dedicated, showing up, being consistent with that, and continuing to refine and learn what you're able to do. Like when a gymnast walks in the gym, I'm sure they're like, oh yeah, I could do, like, I don't know, gymnastics, but like I could do 2 flips there. Or when a tennis player walks on the thing, like, oh, I know I can hit the ball this way. When I walk in the gym, I'm like, I know I can lift that weight. It's like, I know what I can do. And I know how hard I had to work to get here. And I've seen how far I've come. And to me, it's like a reinforcement of, if I just keep working, I'm going to keep getting better. What I realized is it works great for bodybuilding. You keep showing up, you keep putting in time, you keep putting in effort, you don't quit. When something doesn't work, you try something new. When that doesn't work, you hire a coach, you get some education, you keep pushing, more time, more effort, more results. Well, it's the same with education. It's the same with relationships. It's the same with business. It's the same with social media. You show up, you work hard consistently, you're either going to get results or you're going to get lessons that teach you how to get the results. And so bodybuilding was just a long, drawn-out way of teaching me how to believe in myself, how to apply myself, how to stay consistent, and almost in an art form of how you can change with time. And so, yeah, I really pursued bodybuilding for the last 18 years. And as I kind of alluded to earlier, I've started this vegan squad team, all these other coaches, and I've not put this publicly, but hey, this could be the first time. I've used performance-enhancing drugs the last 10 years. I'm the world's largest vegan bodybuilder.
Wow.
And I didn't necessarily need the drugs to grow or to get some of the way, but eventually you hit a point naturally after 8 years of training where progress slows. And I didn't want to just be the bodybuilding vegan at 200 pounds. I wanted to get to 225, 250, 275. I got a 275 last year. And I remember Allie, she's a little early. She comes in early. About 6 months ago, she's like, I think you should stop. I want you to be healthy. I want you to be around for a long time. And I was like, look, I will leave you before I leave this sport. You're not taking this from me. And she's like, well, I'll reevaluate daily. And if there's a time where I feel like I can't take the risk of losing you, I'm just going to go. I said, we'll take it a day at a time. My mom had the conversation. I'm like, Mom, I'm not having this conversation with you. Like, this is my life. This is what I've done for 18 years. I want to keep getting better. I don't want to go to the gym and get worse. I don't want to lose this thing that I'm okay at. I've just spent a lot of time in it. So like I've gotten good, but like my genetics are not that great. I've worked with athletes with better genetics. I've trained with people with better genetics. I've helped people do better than I have myself. Outside of like this large for a vegan male this size. It's not happened before, but the speed at which I've seen some of my other people go, I'm like, oh, if you stay the same route as me, you'll catch me and you'll surpass me. We'll see if you stick with it for that long. But I don't want to be the poster child because I feel like somebody out there with better genetics could do it. But starting this team and having all these people pour into me and love me for who I am, not for my bodybuilding achievements, but for who I am, and then seeing a friend that had helped me pose die at 38 years old, whether or not it was even related, I saw that and I thought, damn. And so I love to ask myself hard questions. When I was with the partner before, Allie, I really loved her, but like some things were falling short. She wasn't always like reliable to be who I needed for support. And just sometimes the ball was dropped. But I didn't want to hurt her, and she really made me happy, and I really loved her. And I asked myself, John, does she make you a better person for the world? My soul immediately said no, and I texted her. I said, we need to talk. That fast, like 5 seconds. And so I was at the gym after seeing that friend die about a month and a half ago. And I said, John, are you truly vegan? Is this fight for the animals? They can't speak up for themselves. Does this really matter to you? I answered honestly, yes, it does. Would you even say it's probably the most important thing in your life? I would say, yes, it is. Then how are you such a hypocrite that you're going to take drugs that are going to take years off your life and could cause a sudden incident? You're at 275 pounds, bro. How big do you got to be to prove that vegans can build muscle? How far do you have to take this to actually care about yourself? How, like, is it worth chancing a heart attack in the next 3 to 5 years just to get 5 or 10 pounds bigger? How are you going to help feed these 25 mouths if you're not here? I started crying. I just started crying in the gym, and then I called Allie. She answered, talked me through it for like 10 minutes. And I realized I'm more important than just a bodybuilder. And it took the love from all of those people. Allie alone wasn't enough. I love her, and like it makes me feel guilty to say that. My own mother wasn't enough. But the love of my team made me realize I need to love myself so I can be around a little bit longer, because this vegan mission, probably in the same way if I was around maybe 200, 300 years ago, this mission of slavery, it might not be solved in my lifetime. So if I can get a few more years out of it, that's more important than a few more plates on the bar, a few more pounds on the scale, a few more shows I've competed in. So at this point in time, I've decided to go off everything performance enhancing drug wise and see what I can do myself. And it's hard because I pushed through a ceiling. I got really strong last year. So every time I go to the gym, I'm like a little bit weaker, and then the next week a little bit weaker, and like I imagine I could probably settle in at about 230, 240, maybe 245 pounds. But if I stick with what I've just said, I'll never grow any bigger. I've already passed my genetic potential, or like at least my natural genetic potential. And it's just gonna be a slow coast down. Unless I pick something like running. If I want to be able to run a marathon, it's not gonna happen at 265 pounds. So I don't remember how we got down this road. I've not said that publicly yet, so happy to do that here. It feels like the right time. It feels like I've stuck with it long enough to like, this isn't just a shower thought. I've told my mom I want to be here. I've told Allie I want to be here. I've told the team I want to be here for them. So I'll keep trying to be the vegan bodybuilder, but I hope that somebody else will come and do it better here sooner. Or maybe not. I don't know. I mean, if somebody wants to. Like, there are risks in this sport, and I think as I've gotten older and found something more worth living for than just my own pursuits, it's made me reevaluate.
Perspective.
Yeah.
Yeah, thanks for sharing that, man. I know what it feels like to work your whole life on something, especially something that has helped you.
Yeah, that's the,
escape a lot of trauma.
it's been an escape. It's been a positive source. I've met some of the best people in the world in the gym. I guess I can still go to the gym. It's always been that, like, my nature, like, oh, I did 10 last week. I want to see if I can do 11. And now that I'm in there and it's like, I did 11 last week. Let's try and hold on. Shit, we got 10. All right, well, got 10 last week. Fuck, I only got 9 this week. Damn, I'm going to have to drop some weight. Like, but also, what helped me stop crying at the gym that day was like, bro, you've been in one lane. You've skipped parties. You don't drink alcohol. You've never done any other hard drugs outside of bodybuilding. You've missed birthday parties. You've missed your own birthdays. Like, you've just been in the gym. Like, you've canceled work events prior to this with other careers. You've made the gym such a big part of your life that you'd be out somewhere like Utah where you could go hiking and you're like, I can't go on Wednesday because I got to go train legs. Ask yourself, like, yes, you're going to have to give up a lot by not continuing down this path. You're going to have to give up this possible title of, like, world's largest vegan bodybuilder. You're going to have to give up hitting new PRs and being able to post it. But, like, what are you going to get in return that you've been missing for 18 years? What else is out there that you don't even know about because you've been so one-track minded? And so, I don't know yet. I said running, but, like, that's because I think I'm defaulting to running because that's what I used to do before bodybuilding. So it's like, I don't know, maybe bicycling. I don't know. I can't even swim. I mean, I can swim, like, I won't drown, but, like, I can't competitively swim. I'm too heavy. You sink if you're too muscular. So, like, you're heavier. Yeah. So, like, I don't know. Rock climbing sounds like fun, but, like, I can't do that at this weight. Not when I say I can't. Like, I mean, I could go rock climbing. I could go swimming. I could run for a little bit, but, like, to be good at it, some things are gonna have to change. And I've always just been like, nah, I want to be a bodybuilder. Whatever helps me there. I don't care if I fit on a plane seat or a car seat, or I'm always sweating or whatever. Like, whatever. I don't sleep very well sometimes. Like, bodybuilding's number one. But now I'm like, what else is there? And at the end of the day, I pushed myself with bodybuilding. I told myself, at least, I was doing it for the animals. If I could get big enough and show other people that, like, as we're gonna say, veganism doesn't hold you back. It doesn't hold you back at all, training. So maybe I can get big enough to prove other people that they should go this way. But I don't think people want proof. I don't think people want just availability. Like, people need to be asked some hard questions. If they're okay with the results of their actions, if they were in the victim's shoes, how would they want to be treated? If you were in a factory farm, would you want the person to go vegan that day or next week or next month? Like, when would you want it? And would you want that person to speak up now or next year? If you were the victim, how would you like this situation to be handled out? So that was why I think I went so far into the deep end. It was for the animals. And now, obviously, I want to be around for them. But to answer you, I don't believe it's any harder to be building muscle as a vegan or plant-based. In fact, especially if you go on the enhanced side like myself, blood work comes back better. I was helping athletes, and still happy to do it if somebody's not yet plant-based but using drugs to improve their performance. If you want to protect your heart, protect your health, go plant-based while doing it. At the bare minimum, I've helped people clean up their cholesterol, lower their kidney markers so their kidneys aren't getting too much pressure put on them, help lower their blood pressure, sleep better skin. So really, like, there's a lot of benefits of that people don't understand or aren't aware of. And then as far as getting the food, getting protein, it's not hard. I also think protein's probably been overhyped as well. I mean, I've gone down the deep end, 170 grams a day for over a year.
Sheesh.
And it worked, but, like, would less have worked? Maybe. And I think with the athletes that I have, that's where I realized, like, okay, this definitely isn't holding anybody back. I thought for myself, because I saw other people progress faster, like, oh, maybe it's because they're eating these animal proteins. But then when I've had other vegan athletes turn pro in their own bodybuilding shows, or be not vegan and then come be vegan, like my girlfriend Allie, went vegan shortly after meeting me, and combined with training, she's 40, actually 41, hit PR she'd never hit before.
Wow.
And so I'm like, okay, I've just done bodybuilding for so long. My genetics just aren't, frankly, that great. I've just stuck with it for so long and done everything possible that I can, including, like I said, like, making sure I get sleep every night, skipping parties, like, putting this as a priority. But other people are making progress faster. and getting further on their own timeline. And even especially when they've switched from eating animals to not.
Wow.
So there's just a lot that people haven't tried yet. It's almost like the 1,000-pound deadlift or the 4-minute mile. Nobody even aimed for that high or aimed for those goals because it had never been done before. But now I wanted to show people, like, I think my original small thinking mind was, what if I can convince all these professional bodybuilders to go vegan? Maybe they'll do it for their health so they can compete longer. And then maybe the people that look up to them will also want to eat like them. And we can kind of create a small ripple effect. But at the end of the day, we need a lot more than just the bodybuilders in the world to go vegan. And it's not worth my life to help them see that.
What was your heaviest, I guess your big 3?
Big 3 lifts?
Yeah, big 3 lifts.
So I never really was a power lifter, but from standards that I think are impressive, best deadlift was 585 for 6. Best squat was 585 for 6. That's 6 plates on each side. And bench press, I stopped doing a few years back, but I did 365 for 9. And recently on this last bulk, this is like, I didn't realize it was going to be the best I ever did, but I built some dumbbells at the gym. They have like 120-pound dumbbells. And so we bring a bunch of 5-pound plates and bungee them on with bands. And I was able to do 160 pounds for 5 reps in each hand on an incline. So
Sheesh.
that's pretty heavy. And I didn't realize it at the time. A little bittersweet now, but like, I'll never beat that. I'm not gonna be that big anymore. So I've got those highlights though. At least hey, I got that far. Somebody else can carry it further. Or if you're like, I need meat to grow, you're not gonna hit those numbers without drugs. But you don't have to use meat.
Because that's what they say. They say, and they always say like, oh, and it's because I used to eat meat. So I'm not like as much of a vet as you.
Yeah.
Started at like 13, whatever. Like I kind of went vegan in college, like right after like 23, 24.
Okay.
So when I was playing rugby in college, I was eating meat, everything, and I was bigger. I was like 220, 225, like super lean. I'm 6'3", so
Yeah.
it wasn't as bulky on me, but much more than this. And my lifts were stronger. Then I went vegan, kind of like that comparison. I was like, I noticed my strength went down, but then what I noticed is that other things weren't in play. Like when I was playing rugby, we had conditioning. So sometimes you don't factor in the other stuff that was helping me. I was eating more in general. I was at the cafeteria late. I was waking up in the middle of the night to eat.
Yeah.
But sometimes you just compare things, but you don't count all the variables.
100%. And it goes, I think, a little beyond that too. Like there are variables that we might miss, and that's like my job as a coach. It's like I had one client that was trying to lose weight, and like find out why he wasn't losing weight. I was like, send me a photo of each meal. And he sends me a photo of a peanut butter jar for his last meal. I was like, what's this? He's like, well, I needed protein. I was like, okay. He's like, well, so every night I've been eating the whole jar. And I'm like, what? He's like, well, I figured, it's important to track my macros, but I figured protein was the most important one, so I've only been tracking protein. And I'm like, okay, we figured out why that wasn't working. Because he was eating to the plan, eating the protein to the plan. He didn't realize. And so like you said, there might be other variables at play. But I think one variable that we overlook a lot, and I won't be able to go back and fix this for myself, is our own mindset. So if you believed eating vegan might, even if you thought there's a possibility, this might make me weaker. Or if I thought that growing up, like, this might hold me back. When you think that way, it becomes reality. And in the other way, if you start eating meat and you're like, well, I think this might make me bigger, you're gonna work harder. I think the coolest study I ever read is this group of lifters, trained lifters, that had a previous squat max. And they took them and they put them in a few different groups. But the two groups that stood out to me is the group that was given a sugar pill and said, this is steroids. And then they had another group that said, this is a sugar pill. Or I don't think they said it was a sugar pill. They said Yes, they said it's a sugar pill. They told them it's a sugar pill, but it was actually steroids. So one group was told this isn't gonna help you at all. Sorry, I'm messing it up a little bit. The first group, basically, they're like, this is steroids. It's gonna help you grow. And they went in there believing that, but it had nothing in it. It was inert. There was no drugs. It was just sugar inside of a capsule. In the other group, they said, hey, you guys are the placebo group. You shouldn't really improve here because there's nothing in there, but it was actual drugs. The group that believed they were taking steroids set lifetime personal records across the board. The group that believed they were just taking nothing else, they didn't improve, they didn't disprove, they stayed the same, even with the drugs in play. Now, back to that first group, they told them a month later, hey, just kidding, it's not steroids, this is just a sugar pill. Their lifts went back down. When they didn't believe they were superhuman, they stopped training that way. And so belief is such a powerful tool. And so I think that's why I wanted to grow so big, so that people could believe this is possible, so that they wouldn't ever hold themselves back and be like, oh, I went vegan, so I'm not as strong, or I went vegan, so maybe it's not possible. I wanted to put it out there that, and a lot of my journey, I was still like, I'm not sure. So I wonder if I could go back from day one and be like, I know this is possible, I know this is, like with the same belief and conviction I have now, and what I'm telling you, I wish I had that at the start. Wonder, could I have gone even further? And other coaches have seen this too. Like in the underground world of using these PEDs for bodybuilding, we're not able in most countries to just walk up to a pharmacy and get the best quality every single time. And so a high-level athlete working with a coach that I know was making pretty solid progress, like decent, like better than most on drugs. They went to get his blood work done to make sure everything was safe. His testosterone was bottom of the reference range. The drugs were not legitimate. He was taking some inert substance being sold as drugs. And so basically he believed, the coach believed, and he put in the work, and he was progressing more than other drug users. So genetics is part of this. Mm-hmm. But the belief is also, I think, so incredibly powerful. If you can believe something, if you can speak it, if you put it out in the universe enough, it's almost like we trick ourselves in our reality to make it happen. So whatever your goal is, I'd say speak about it as if you've already done it. Not, I'm going to be successful. I am successful. Not, I will be rich. I am rich. And you start speaking that way. I mean, I've told Allie for a while, I want to break the 2 years, and we've done that. This time last year, I had 2 people on the team. It was me and 2 others. And I looked at Allie and I said, by the end of the year, I want 10. And we had 15. And now we're at 25 in February. So when you speak something and you work towards it, it seems to happen. And so that's why I want you to be like, I am vegan, I can do this. And maybe you need some different tools. I see you got celery and carrots, and those are healthy and those are good. And if you've got diseases, those will fight those. But we might need to get you're a big dude, some more calorie dense plant-based foods. And that's also another thing that I've learned in bodybuilding. Like,
sorry to interrupt. Yeah, like what, as a vegan, what are some things we can consume to put on mass, muscle mass? So we want to think about like the constraints, right? So it's funny, like most fat people, and I'm not fat shaming, just if you believe you're fat and that you have a slow metabolism, you're lying to yourself. If you believe you're skinny and you have a fast metabolism, you're lying to yourself. Metabolisms don't vary that much, but our inputs and outputs do. So if you're a fat person that doesn't exercise very much and you eat a lot, whether or not you realize it, or it takes a lot for food for you to feel full, that's why you're fat. If you're a skinny person that exercises a lot and don't eat that much, even though it feels like you're full a lot, but you don't eat that much, that's why you don't grow. It's not your metabolism. Like, this is within your control. I've done this with over 500 people personally. Like, it's within your control. You can fix this. You can work on this. It just takes time and effort and the right application of knowledge. So if you're skinny and you're vegan and you're trying to gain weight, don't eat brown rice, don't eat quinoa, don't eat beans. Those are all extremely fiber-filled foods that are going to keep you feeling full and slow your digestion. They're great for overweight people trying to lose fat. Still eat vegetables, but I wouldn't eat as many raw vegetables because they take up a lot of space. There's less cellulose. It takes time to digest them. Tons of water. You feel full when you eat them. Great for people trying to lose weight. Not so great when you're trying to build muscle. At the end of the day, you need enough calories to grow and then some protein. So you can use things like seitan, tofu, TVP, edamame. Those are great ways, protein powder. Those are great ways to get some of your protein. But I'd say if you're really struggling to gain weight, don't worry so much about protein. It's also very filling. You need carbs and some fats. You can add in fats, peanut butters, avocados, nuts. Those are pretty calorie dense. But the bulk of what you need to be doing if you're trying to gain weight, and that's a problem, is high amounts of carbs. And so if you're trying to stay on more of, like, there's a lot of vegans that are like, I gotta eat like whole foods, I gotta eat just, natural stuff. And
they could do like bananas, dates. Those are good ways to get more calories on the fruit side. But if you really want to push things, and what blows a lot of people's minds, and I get in arguments all the time online about this, white rice. White rice is one of the easiest, best digesting foods, and you can eat massive amounts of calories. When I was bulking last year, like, I don't care if your metabolism is high or not, eating 850 carbs a day, multiple days in a row is not, but white rice made it easier. So you could do white rice, you could do cream of rice where you blend up the rice in the microwave. I do that all the time. You're making a face, but you throw in some nuts, some fruit, some vanilla protein powder, you got yourself a big rice dessert bowl. It's like a hot rice pudding. Almost like grits, but more easily digestible because grits are made from, well, grits are corn, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, corn. Corn's okay. You would want to stay away from like cream of wheat because wheat doesn't digest as easily as rice. So I do a lot of rice with myself and my clients, rice cakes, rice noodles. All of those are like easily digestible options. So if you're trying to put down a couple hundred carbs alongside some protein and some fat and then still feel hungry 2 hours later, that's the name of the game. And you got to track. You got to track. Everybody has to track. Everybody, 98% of people need to track. There's a couple percentage of people that just intuitively know how much to eat, and they're the people that this seems easy for. It's because their brain is in line with how much they need to eat. Most people, though, they overeat, and that's why 2/3 of America's fat. Some people undereat. That's why some people are skinny. Most people that are skinny aren't working to be there. They just, I was busy today. I worked 12 hours, and I had protein bars, and then I went and took a nap. And it's like, that's it, bro? That's why you're not gaining weight. You were busy. And it's what do you do consistently over time? Did you hit your calories today, or was it for the last month that you hit them? And if it's for the last month and you didn't gain weight, well, guess what? You need more. And I didn't believe that at the start. I was like 19. I thought if you ate healthy, that was what mattered. If you ate healthy foods and enough, eating enough isn't an amount. So to prove somebody wrong, I ate 5,000 calories a day. I was like 185 pounds. I was like, I'm going to prove to you that it doesn't matter how much you eat, I can't gain weight. And a month later, I was 200 pounds and fat, and I was like, all right, they were right. I was wrong. I did a lot of self-experimentation at the time. So if you need to gain more, you got to eat more. And if it's hard to eat, then we got to find ways to make it easier to eat.
And I'm glad you said that, because that's the issue that actually my girlfriend, she struggles with. She's trying to put on a little more weight, you know? Just being real, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
She trying to get that apple bottom, which she already got, but she trying to, you feel me, take it to the next level.
Okay.
You feel me? So squats and stuff like that, I help her out as much as I can. But it's just scarfing down the food.
Yeah.
I can kind of go there because I did that in college. Like I can tap into that condition, just eat.
Yeah.
But it's just a little more difficult for her.
Yeah, break up the meals, 5-6 meals a day if you have to. Start eating earlier in the day. I try not to eat like right before bed unless that feels comfortable for you. Other like kind of little cheats that people can do, liquid calories. I wouldn't say like drink Coke, but orange juice, some orange juice. That's 30 carbs per cup, 2 cups of that, or a cup in between each meal. Like, be careful. You do it like I do and you go up to 5,000 calories, you're gonna get fat. But if you're struggling, if you're like, I'm eating 2,500 calories a day, I'm really full, like pretty much all day, swap some of your water with orange juice. Make sure you get some carbs while you're training, some Gatorade while you train.
Yeah, because she worries about being too bloated too, because she models.
Oh, well then, again, celery and carrots are great. They got a lot of fiber, a lot of stuff for our bodies to break down, and it's going to cause a little bit more bloating. The other thing, a lot of people don't want to hear this, but meal plans work for a reason. If you eat the same thing for meal 1, and then another thing for meal 2, and like every day is meal 1, meal 2, meal 3, by the end of a week, you can be like, oh, I get bloated after meal 2. It's the tofu with the spinach. It's either tofu or spinach. One of those is bloating me. So the next week you try tofu with zucchini. Oh, no bloat. Okay, maybe it was the spinach causing it. Or, you know, it's beans and I don't know. I don't need a ton of beans, but maybe you have beans and you mix that with something like, I guess, like a mock chicken, like the daring chicken or something like that. And it's like, I'm having some digestion issues with that meal. Maybe you try different carb sources. Instead of beans, you try that with rice, or you try it with a different vegetable, maybe corn, or something that was kind of interchangeable there. And it's a lot of process by elimination. But if you do that for long enough, if you do that for a few months, and you've got this list of safe foods, like I know I can digest these. A list of safe meals, I know I can digest these. And then you just start bumping up the amounts. Typically the carbs. You bump up the rice, you bump up the carbs somewhere. And that's basically how you do it. That's a high level of what we do as coaches with the Vegan Squad. Like that's part of our method is finding foods that work for people. Because, yeah, like you could put any food down long enough and just stomach it. if like gun to your head and I said eat this, you could. But if you're feeling bloated and you don't like the way you look or feel, why would you keep showing up? So that's a big part of it. And this has been done for years for regular bodybuilders. They've found foods, and that's where I learned a lot of my inspiration. It was like, okay, what does some guy that's 350 pounds eat or 300 pounds eat? I'd look at their diet. I'd be like, okay, well, I can't have chicken. I can have a giant plate of white rice. I can have avocado. And I feel like the one that's like, I personally have an issue with is broccoli. Like, everybody's like, chicken, rice, broccoli, that's what you eat. That's what you eat if you're a bodybuilder. But like, I'm like, broccoli, I've programmed it for over 100 clients, and like 90% are like, yeah, I have a little gas with this meal. I'm like, the broccoli meal? And they're like, yeah. I'm like, let's try squash, zucchini. The spinach usually works for most people. Green beans seem to be pretty safe. Asparagus. You don't have to eat broccoli. I got some people that are like, bro, I just freaking love broccoli. And I'm going to be a little bit gassy, but I just love broccoli. That's like Allie. I love her. I'm going to put her out there. She'll eat what she loves, even if it makes her a little bit gassy. I'm like, all right, that's something that you and I are both willing to pay for right here. We're agreeing to this. But like, I've been able to get my own gas down by just not eating broccoli. I used to eat broccoli with like every meal, like even with a protein shake. I'm like, I gotta have my veggie. It's like, you can do it better. So there's a lot of individuality. That's the one part. Like, I can write a training plan that'll work for like 90% of people if they show up and like apply themselves, assuming they don't have an injury. That part's easy. It's like pretty plug and play. But for digestion, every person is individual. We come from different backgrounds, different traditions, different childhoods. Getting really in the weeds here, but like peanut allergies are pretty high in the United States, and a lot of doctors say don't give peanuts to like your young children because they might have an allergy. And when I say it like that, it kind of makes sense. At least I would think so. Okay, that makes sense. But then if we look at, I believe it's like certain Middle Eastern countries, they have this like almost like a Cheeto, but it's with peanuts instead of cheese. It's like this puffed peanut thing. I forget the name of it. Somebody will know. Somebody will put it in the comments. And they have like a 0.001 or like an extremely low peanut allergy rate. And it's because they expose these children. It's like one of the first food that they feed babies that's a solid food. And it's like, oh, we were trying to protect everybody, so we're keeping it from them. But really, if we expose them to it, then they'd be able to digest it without having the allergy. So it's crazy how like things like that are starting to come to light, and you're like, oh, we got it all figured out. And it's like, but we figured out so many things in the last 50 years, the last 1,500 years. Like, what are we going to figure out in the next 50? Like, asbestos used to be in everybody's house.
Yeah.
Like, or like right now, I think the big one that a lot of people don't get is like
Black
plastic. Mold, yeah, but plastic. Microplastics, and they will come from eating meat, eating fish, because it goes up the food chain. And then it is also, the worst one actually is plastic cutting boards.
What?
Think about it.
What is it?
Plastic cutting boards. If you cut on a plastic cutting board, the knife goes through your food. You're chopping up bigger, like not micro size, but like pieces of plastic that get in your food. So that's like supposedly the #1 cause.
What about the heating plastic in the microwave?
She's on the next one, heating plastics. Yeah. People always worry like, oh, what about soy? Is soy bad for hormones? And we'll get into that, but the worst thing that most people do, or the worst thing that vegans do right now in regards to soy, or not soy, but in regards to estrogen and hormones, is heating their food in plastic containers. Got in an argument, we don't get into too many arguments with Allie. I was like, you're not allowed to do it. Like, you can't put your food, I love you, you can't put your food in plastic and put it in the microwave. That's why we have this, at this house, we have all glass bowls, like Pyrex bowls. Because you can eat food that's cold in plastic. Like if you have overnight oats and you just let them sit in there, the plastic doesn't really like leach out into the food. When you heat it up in the microwave, it leaches out and goes into the food, and it actually interferes with your body and with your hormones. So for men, you'll get a spike in estrogen from eating food that's been heated in plastic. It's crazy, it's like diabolical. It's like you go to get coffee, you know those little paper cups?
No.
They have plastic liners. So you're putting almost boiling water in with plastic. Like we're slowly, to save a few cents on a coffee cup, slowly killing ourselves in a million different ways. Death of 1,000 cuts. So yeah, whatever you do, don't heat up food in plastic. If you got your food, it's in plastic, all right, eat it cold or pour it out, put it on something else. Find a way to do it without heating the plastic. Same thing with plastic bottles, like people leave them in their cars, like the little crunchy, like if you're a plastic bottle that can crunch, if it's one of the bottles like a blender cup, a shaker cup that says BPA free, you're usually safe, I would say. Some people go as far to carrying glass or like metal containers. Those are probably in some ways safer. But don't leave like a Gatorade bottle in your car in the heat and then drink it. Like unless you're dying of starvation, like or dehydration. Like I wouldn't just make that a habit. But yeah, so a lot of people are worried about soy. And I'm sure there's a lot of people listening to this. I go to talks and elderly population's worried about it. Young population, everybody's heard about soy boys and soy boobs and all these things. And my response to the soy boobs, man, I would have cornered the market on plastic surgery if soy gave you boobs. There are so many women that would pay so much money for some soybeans to help them grow instead of using implants and other things like that. And no judgment. I mean, bodybuilding is basically body modification. If that's your thing, I got tattoos. If that's your thing, no judgment. But if it worked with soy, we'd be saving a lot of money and there'd be a lot of doctors out of business. Doesn't work that way. And then for men, it doesn't work that way either because soy contains phytoestrogens. Everybody's like, oh my God, that's estrogen. It's not the same as like the estrogen produced by a mammal. It's like it's in a plant. It's actually cardioprotective. If you're worried about soy, I've been using soy for 23 years now. I ate tofu every day for like 15 years. Like soy milk, years, decades now. Like it's not a problem. My estrogen doesn't come back high on blood work. My clients don't have issues with soy. If you happen to have a soy allergy, that's different. But if you're like, I'm worried about my hormones, you drink alcohol? Alcohol fucks your hormones up. So stay away from alcohol. If you drink alcohol and you're worried about soy, you are barking up the wrong tree. And oh wait, you drink milk? Actual milk? From a cow that has hormones naturally present, but also other hormones and steroids and antibiotics that we inject these cows with. What is milk? Milk is this giant concoction of fat and sugar and protein and hormones to help babies grow. So all these people are like, I'm worried about soy. I can't have tofu, but I'm going to drink my milk. It's like, dude, even if you don't care about the animals, you're still doing it wrong. So it's a big myth. And why is that myth out there? Great question. Who benefits from people being afraid of soy? When you think about it, soy is a competitor for what? The meat industry, dairy industry. So who put out all the studies saying soy is bad for you? Who puts out all the articles and all of the hate online? Who even pays people to go on forums like Reddit and make posts saying soy is bad for you? It's at the end of the day, it all comes back to money. And right now, these meat and dairy lobbyists are working to keep their industry safe and secure by scaring people out of alternatives. So, almost like every problem we've ever had in human history, starting with slavery and now like everything along the lines, it all comes back to money. If you look where the money's going, you'll find the answer. Whether or not you like it, the answer will be there.
You're not wrong. Man, I kind of want to double back to some of the stuff we talked about at the beginning because the sun is starting to go behind the tree. But protein powder.
Okay.
Myth or a must?
I'm such a coach that it's like, it depends. I've got clients that are like, I don't want to use protein powder. I'm like, you don't even have to have a good reason to not want to do something, right? Like it's freedom of choice. Like I can say no, I don't want to do this. I don't need a reason. Am I a good enough coach that I can find a way for somebody without protein powder? Of course, we don't need it. I like it because like I'll do cream of rice, I'll do my oatmeal, I'll mix in some protein powder, some fruits. Like I don't know, that's my jam before I go to bed, and usually before I go to the gym because it digests well for me. But you don't need it. You don't need it at all.
To get big.
No, you just need enough calories and protein. It doesn't have to come from protein powder. That's the cool part. It's like you could have a soy allergy, or you could say I'm not going to use protein powder, or I'm not going to do this. You don't have to do any one thing. You don't have to squat to become a big person. You don't have to deadlift to become a big person. You just need to do some form of exercise that you can progressively get stronger at. You don't have to use protein powder. You can still use tofu, TVP. You get a little bit of protein from nuts, but I don't say go that way. But lentils, those are all things that are going to have some protein. And then if you want to use any of the other processed proteins out there, seitan's a really good one. Like there's so many ways you can do it without using protein powder. But for like somebody to be healthy, if you ask me like gun to my head, you want the population as a whole to live as long as humanly possible with as least amount of problems, whole foods, unprocessed, plant-based. Fruits, vegetables, nuts, seeds, legumes. Keep oils out of it. You can add salt. We all need salt, especially if we're sweating. If you train, you need salt. But you don't need powders. You don't need bread. You don't need all these other kind of like man-made foods. You'll be just fine on that. You'll be just fine on that for the rest of your life. And You want to live forever or live the longest possible? Eat less. Don't be a bodybuilder. From the things I've learned and read, it's like our heart only has so many heartbeats.
Really?
It can only beat so many times before it quits. So if you think about it, okay, should I avoid exercise? No, because actually exercise, intense periods of exercise will keep your resting heart rate lower. So throughout the day, throughout the 22 hours that you're not exercising, it'll be low. It can go high while you train, but it'll be lower for the long haul.
You catch up.
You catch up, yeah. And then eat less. In rodent studies, because we're not going to do this on people, but like they found if you take mice and you feed them enough to keep them at their same body weight or whatever, and the other group you feed half as much food, that other group, yes, they get skinnier, but they live way longer. We haven't done this in people, but if we look at the people that have gone over 100 years old, they're not 7 feet tall. They're not 250 pounds. A lot of them are women, and they're smaller. They're shorter, and what do they have in common? They've eaten mostly whole foods, unprocessed plant-based foods, maybe some fish, maybe some olive oil, but pretty much a lot of fruits and vegetables, nuts, seeds, rice. And then they have movement. That's a big part of it. You don't want to be sitting all day, every day. You want to get your steps in. It doesn't have to be running. It doesn't have to be intense exercise, but they often walk. They're in cities that have, they don't need all these cars. They can walk around. They get a lot of steps. And then the last and probably most important part is that belief. And by belief, I mean they have purpose. They have some form of role in society, whether they're educators or they're a grandparent or a great-grandparent at this point. They have some reason to be there. So if you have a reason to be there, you're not overly fat, you haven't neglected exercise, those would be the ways, and you haven't eaten tons of animal products. That would be the best way to live 100 years long or older.
You hear that, ladies and gentlemen? That's the secret. It's not rocket science.
It's just going back more to what would we be doing in the past? And it's not what people believe. They think, oh, cavemen eat lots of meat. Like, no. We were mostly gatherers, sometimes hunters, mostly gatherers. Look at us. We're not a cheetah. What are you going to kill an animal with until you develop tools? So like for the majority of human history, like we're not going to run some animal down and eat it with our bare mouth. Like people say we have canine teeth, but they're not killing anything. Like humans, actually, I'm like amazed we're here because in the animal kingdom, like on a one-on-one match, like who would we really beat long term? Like we can't even beat most herbivores. Like without a knife, you fight a cow or a bull. That's not a fight I want. Like alligator? Hell no, especially on the water. So like we're here because we've made it that way, our minds. And then also it's like, so with that, what's our responsibility? Animals, yeah, a cheetah can't stop eating a gazelle or whatever they eat because they don't have thumbs, they don't have iPhones, they don't have that ability to do that. And also really like, I'm gonna keep going. I got a few more.
Oh no, let's hear it.
They're not also fucking up the world by doing it. By eating a gazelle, what world do they destroy? They actually, you can even make the argument, they help the gazelles. If the gazelles did not have the cheetahs or the lions, the sick ones would continue to populate. The ones without the best genetics would continue to live on. The non-intelligent ones would continue on and breed. And yeah, you're starting to think, well, what naturally kills humans? Not that much. Usually our own stupidity to an extent. But now we've made the world so safe that like you can text and drive, but you got a seatbelt. You might kill somebody else, hopefully not yourself. It's like we've made it so easy for people to live now in some ways that we don't have that natural selection singling us out, and everybody's able to procreate. And usually the people that don't think about procreating and don't have a stable job or a stable place are the ones that are having the most kids. So we're starting to play with the world in ways that are not working in our favor. But when we look at it, like a lot of people are like, well, I'll just hunt then. Okay, good for you. If you have the resources, the abilities, and you're gonna go hunt for your meat, okay, cool. Where? How are you going to tell the rest of the world to do that? How are you going to tell the rest of the world to eat a carnivore diet? That's my biggest problem with the carnivore diet, is that not everyone on this planet could do it. Everyone on the planet could eat plant-based. Not everyone on the planet could do carnivore. We don't have enough space or resources. You're literally advocating for like an extremely privileged position. Not everyone could do that. And what I mean by not everyone is, on the planet, 34% of the mammals on the planet are humans. 34% of all mammals are humans. 4% are wild. Wow. other 60-some% are in factory farm cages. When you think of those numbers, oh, those 34% of people, well, we're just going to stop factory farming and we're going to go hunt wild animals. It lasts for like a couple of years, and then there'll be no more wild animals left. We're eating so many animals every year that we can't even feed ourselves, and we've stripped the wild population down to 4% of all mammals. That's mammals. I'm not talking birds, I'm not talking fish, just mammals. When we look around, if we looked out here long enough, we could probably see a bird, right? We look around, there's a lot of trees. I see one. For every one bird you see in the sky, there's 7 in a crate or a factory farm. 85% of all birds currently alive on the planet are in a cage.
Wow.
And when you think of the numbers like that, it's hard to imagine, because when I go outside, sometimes I see a lot of birds. But to know 85% of all birds currently alive are in a cage, it's like, what are we doing? And of course, like, it's easy to just go about your life and say, I don't have to take part in this. I don't have to think about this. I don't have to change because everybody else does it. My friends do it. My neighbors do it. My mom does it. My kids do it. How? It's just me. How am I one person going to change this? It's so daunting. It's so big. It's so bad. Oh, this is too much. I don't want to have to think about this. This shouldn't have to be my problem. And you know what? You're right. It shouldn't have to be your problem. Your parents probably shouldn't have raised you this way. The meat and dairy industry shouldn't have indoctrinated you with got milk posters when you went to high school. You shouldn't have had all these broken food pyramids. No matter which way you turn it, they're still leading to the death and suffering of animals and people. And so I'm sorry that you're a part of this, but this is the reality that we live in. You're either a part of the solution or you're part of the problem. And when you die and maybe you have your family around you, do you want to say, I didn't fix it, but I wasn't a part of it? I didn't fix it, but I spoke up against it. Or do you just want to be like, I'm swiping to the next thing. This is making me uncomfortable. I'm not going to think about it. And everybody that's watching this will get to ask themselves that. If they're not yet vegan, are they going to make that choice? Are they going to make that choice now or later or never? And if you are vegan, are you going to be like me and not speak about it for 15 years? Or are you going to tell people in the same way that you wish, if you were in a cage, whether you're a human or an animal, you wish other people were speaking up for you? And it's hard, it's uncomfortable. It was uncomfortable to become an activist, but man, I don't want to die someday and be like, I could have done more. I could have been a part of the solution, even if I don't get us all the way there. That's why I'm here with you. Thank you for giving me a chance to share my story. These are some of the things that I think if somebody brought to me at 13 or at 10 years old and sat me down and said what I've said to you on this podcast, I would have thought, dang, I can't believe this is all true. I can't believe we've been lied to, but I can't live with myself if I keep being a part of this. So this isn't to judge anyone else. This is just what I wish I would have heard a long time ago.
Yeah, thanks for sharing, man.
And if I can, I don't want it to be all doom and gloom. Hey, we're here. The human race, it might be the Titanic, right? Like this just might be going down. It might be a ship we can't fix, but we are here. We all have a choice. We all eat 3, or if you're a bodybuilder, more meals a day. We all have friends. We all have families. Almost probably everybody watching this has social media. You can be a part of the change. You can find some other really cool people. If I wasn't vegan, we probably wouldn't be talking right now. Yeah. So I wouldn't have gotten to know you guys and be able to put this out there. So not to say it's all doom and gloom, but you got to think about it. Which part are you on? Which side are you on? And are you going to take a stand? And if you are, yeah, parts of it will be hard. Life's hard anyway. Life can be hard when you cover up who you are because you're afraid of being bullied. Or life can be hard when you say who you are and you start achieving stuff and then people are like, no, you're doing too much. You can't rap. You can't do that. Like, that'd be too crazy. I'm going to pull you down. Let's be where it's safe. Let's come back to be safe.
Tone it down.
I don't have to say, yeah, tone it down. Like, why are you going to be different? Why are you going to be out there? Why you got to make me uncomfortable with my normalness or averageness? If you're a high achiever, you already know people are putting you down. But what I say is only listen to people that are actively doing what you one day want to do. So if somebody's out there in the world in the way that you want to and you see what they're doing, go do it. And if you're afraid of going to the gym because you're fat and somebody's going to make fun of you for being fat, but they're also fat or they don't work out or they're not a good spouse, why do you care what they think? Let them think it. They're going to think it whether or not you go. Life's going to be hard either way. Pick your heart. This is mine.
Touch on that too. Do you feel like more liberated now activist and that you speak up more than before?
I think I was not an activist this whole time because I was afraid. I was afraid of making people uncomfortable. I was afraid that maybe if I'm an activist, more people won't go vegan because they'll hate who vegans are. I thought maybe if I can change who their minds about who I am, maybe they'll one day see this. But what I realized is I didn't go vegetarian because my friend told me to. They gave me an argument that made a lot of sense. And then in the same time at 13, reading that magazine, I didn't go vegan because somebody forced me or because they were my friend. They put out a really good logical argument that was like, wow, this makes sense. And so what I realized is some people are never gonna go vegan. Some people, it's their culture or it's their family okay, I'm not worried about them. I'm worried about younger me that needed to be talked to. And that's why I put this out there, is because somebody will listen to this. There will be somebody. This will go to enough people. They'll be like, okay, today's the day. I'm ready. I'm ready to go down this hard path. And what I can say, you guys got to meet my little vegan squad. This is part of the team. I've never felt this loved enough to love myself until I started putting out there what was important to me. It's almost like, let's say you love cars, like you love, I don't know, collectible cars, but you never tell anyone because you're like, what if they don't like it? What if they judge me for liking cars? What if they think I'm weird for liking cars? Well, then you're gonna have no weird car friends. But if you have whatever it is, whether it's you play the violin, you're a vegan, you're a bodybuilder, like whatever it is that's your thing, own it, because that's how you find your people. You wear it, you talk about it, you spread it, you'll find other people that have similar interests and similar beliefs. And so I feel more connected, I feel more alive than ever. I used to have a retirement account before funding this team. I've just about cashed it out. And I've been thinking, okay, now that we're making money, now that we're sort of being successful, am I gonna build that back up? And I'm like, why would I wanna retire from this? I wanna do this until I'm dead. I don't need that anymore. Like, I want this connection. I want the ability to feel like I can change the world. That fills my cup. And getting to have conversations like this and meet people like you and help younger versions of myself, that's why I'm here. So, thank you for asking.
Yeah, thank you.
That's a good question. Purpose. Yeah, I know we're about to wrap up, but I gotta ask, and I wanted to just talk about everything else because I feel like that's urgent. That's more urgent. But you spoke about the vasectomy.
Yeah.
That's something that, you know, like we were just talking about that. You know, I think on the ride here, you know, long drives, crazy conversations. But we were just talking about that. Kind of what motivated that, and like, yeah, just questions about that. Like, I know people are interested in that, or like, yeah, kind of what's the story behind that, and I guess what are some of your experience with it?
You won't regret it. And it's so hard.
Won't regret what?
Getting a vasectomy. You won't. And here's why I think that. It's like, it's impossible to predict all of the future. You can control some things. I have the best day ever tattooed on my arm. It was what my ex-girlfriend used to tell me every single morning when I would drop her off. I didn't appreciate it at the time. And I'd had a vasectomy, but she really wanted to have kids. And we had decided that I was going to reverse it. We're going to get a house together. I'm going to move to Miami. We're going to have the best life ever, the best day ever, every day. And then she called me. She broke up with me and broke my heart. I considered suicide. It completely changed who I thought my self-worth was, the children that I was planning to have even after. All that to say, like, if you're going through something tough, death of a parent, death of a relationship, find out what's on the other side. I don't mean kill yourself. I mean continue on this path and find out what's coming for you. Never would have met Allie. I'd never have this vegan squad house. I'd never be on this podcast. Like, but I would have killed to stay in that relationship. If she told me you got to kill this one person and I'll stay with, I probably would have. I would have thought it out. I would have done anything. I would have stayed in that relationship probably the rest of my life. I don't think I would have voluntarily left. And she gave me a great favor by breaking up with me. And so what I mean is,
why does she mean so much to you at the time?
I think she gave me purpose. She brought me happiness. I don't feel like I was truly happy until I met her. And I felt like she was my happiness. Like, she brought this energy, this positivity. I see it with you guys. And like, I just hadn't had that before. And I came out of a really abusive relationship prior to this. So I finally learned what it was like to be happy. And then she left. And then I realized she wasn't like this eternal way I could learn how to be happy myself. And then she was gone. And so yeah, that was the darkest moment of my life. I feel like I got to rebuild myself from that. I really didn't care about myself. I stopped for a moment caring about the gym or eating or like, I had to lose, well, I guess, like in that case, the lesson was lose everything that you feel like is important to you or that matters or values to you, and then like pick it up and re-choose, restart. And so, yeah, that was hard for me, and all that back to the vasectomy is like, you don't know where life's going to take you. I'm glad I got the vasectomy because there's a lot of partners before her and after her. Not like a lot, but like enough. Like even one, if any one of them I'd had a child with, I feel like that would have been the mistake. Or maybe it would have put me on a different path. But like, frankly, I don't think that it would have been a good decision with any of the prior partners. I think it would have held me back from being where I'm at now. I think the vasectomy was $100 and pretty much painless and fully recovered within a week. So like, that's not a big amount of money. Having a kid's a big amount of money. But also, there's other alternatives. I met a woman who was with her for almost 2 years, and the reason I was with her is her kids. She had a 2-year-old and a 4-year-old when I met her, and I fell in love with them, and I got to be stepdad for a while. And so now, Allie already had kids in her last relationship. I worked childcare for like 8 years and helped raise my little sister a bit, and was with those other 2 children for a few years. I'm like, I'm kidded out. Like, I love kids, but I also like to go home, be able to do my own things, pack up, go on road trips, you know, do whatever I need to do for me and not have to clean a diaper. I've changed a few thousand diapers. I don't need to do it anymore. So like, I always said like, maybe I'll adopt like a 9-year-old or a 13-year-old, like somebody nobody wants.
Let's skip that phase.
Skip that phase. You know, just, and it's funny how words speak up, because in no way am I Alex's father, but I feel like he has needed some male guidance in his life. It hasn't been there in the ways that it should have been. And now he's basically me and Allie's pseudo son. He's my best friend, my business partner, my mentor for how to be a better person, and like pseudo son all at the same time. And Ashley that you got to meet in there, she went vegan after watching one of my reels last March.
A reel?
A reel. Alex put it together. It was showing what happens to the baby chicks. When she realized that, she's like, I can't eat eggs anymore. I'm going vegan. And then she started bugging me on Instagram about a training plan and all this stuff. So finally I was like, do you want a job or something? Like, you won't leave me alone. And she's like, I've never had a job before. I'm like, all right, we'll find something you're good at. Anything that's been edited on my page, any video you've seen in the last 6 to 8 months has 100% been her. Everything on my YouTube channel, her. Wow. She's incredible. She's been a big part of this whole bodybuilding vegan thing. And I don't know how much I'm allowed to publicly share, but I'll put it this way. This is the first time she's left home to go be with a friend or on a trip or outside of someplace with her parents. She's young. And I feel like this has been very eye-opening for her to get to live a new life. And it's like, no, I'm not like legally adopting her, and she's an adult. But it's been a chance where I can kind of give back and be that parental figure and support somebody on their journey and their growth in the way that you would a child. Like, with love and compassion. And yeah, she's made some mistakes. She's forgot to do her dishes a few times, but like, she didn't have anybody else to show her that. And it's been really nice to watch her grow and to be able to support that. So maybe you get a vasectomy, maybe you don't, maybe you have a kid, maybe that's awesome, maybe something else comes into your life. Who knows? The future is so unknown. And so that's what I try to tell people is like, don't get so hung up on the plans. Because I planned with that woman, Laura, for almost 2 years about the kids, like what we were going to name our kids and what school we were going to have, like what religion we were going to teach them, what's going to be okay, what's not. We would spend days like this where it's beautiful outside and we could have been holding hands or watching the sun or walking or listening to the birds or talking about something in the future we want to do or something in the past that happened to us. But instead we were trying to fight so hard to keep ourselves on the same path. We both wanted it more than anything. And I'm like, what if we just enjoyed all those moments? And so that's the lesson I've tried to carry with myself. And if Allie and I get into an argument, I'll pull a fast one. I'll be like, if I got shot right now in the leg and I'm like bleeding out and you got 60 seconds left to talk to me, are you gonna be upset about this? And she'll be like, of course not. I'm like, all right, then let's move on. Let's find a way to move on and be happy together. And like, usually it's my fault. Not always. Sometimes it's hers. And I'll still be able, most of the time, to kind of paint that extreme. And I'm not saying like use that to emotionally manipulate your partner, but when she forgot to move the laundry, or you forgot to move the laundry, and somebody's annoyed about that, and like it starts to snowball, and then something else happened last week. Like, yes, address the deep concerns. Like, maybe something needs to happen with your communication, but like, you don't need to be in a fight. You don't need to slam doors. You don't need to not talk to somebody for the next 9 hours or go to bed angry. Like, what if you died in your sleep and the last thing you had was an argument, and they had to live with that? Or what if they died in their sleep and you didn't get to say sorry? Don't be with an abusive partner. This doesn't work with an abusive partner. Been there, tried that. But if you have a good partner, let the little stuff go. And try to imagine tomorrow without them. And how would you treat them today? Regardless of that fight. So I think visualizing is super strong. Very powerful. My dad helps me do that. He died from cancer.
Condolences.
And so often I think, wow, I'm going to die. And my dad's dead. And this relationship with Laura's dead. Everybody I know is going to die. So one, might as well be myself. And two, I don't know if I'm going to die next week, tomorrow, right after this podcast, in the next 5 minutes. So do I appreciate what I'm spending my time on? Does it feel valuable and purpose-driven? And does it leave some sort of legacy that I'd be proud of? Would I be happy with what people are going to say when I die? And I think if you live that way the rest of your life, whether or not you die tomorrow or in 50 years, you leave no regrets and you do the things that are most important to you. A lot of people, especially in the United States in our culture, they don't like to talk about death. It's covered up. It's pushed aside. But I think the closer you can be to death and realize this is all temporary, it's all, my dad used to say, this too shall pass. I have that tattooed on my chest. Like, the good things and the bad things are all going to pass. So really just do what fills your cup without hurting others as much as possible.
Don't get twisted.
And try to realize, like, this is all going to be gone way before you realize it. So try not to get hung up on the little stuff that doesn't matter, and use those mind tricks of whatever you can do to make life feel easier. The day my dad died was a Tuesday. I got a call on Friday from a cancer institute thinking that I might have cancer myself. I had this lump that was growing inside of my chest, which makes no sense. But they thought it might be a tumor. And they're like, yeah, we're going to need you to come in. Like, we think this is going to be a tumor, and it's going to be $30,000. And I was like, this is a while back. I'm like, I don't have $30,000. Like, what? And I remember feeling a little bit sorry for myself at the moment. And then I was like, imagine like a semi-truck hits you and you lose your legs and your arms and it's not a tumor. You know, I got my legs on my arms. Like, this really fucking sucks. My dad just died, and like, I got to go figure out if I have cancer or not. But like, I got my arms and my legs. If you can practice gratitude like that, not to minimize what anybody else is going through, but if you still got your eyes, your nose, your ears, your mouth, your arms, your legs, you're doing better than some people. And you can still live your life. And frankly, like, okay, you lost your legs, you still got your arms, you still got your brain, you're still here. If you can live life that way, and instead of being so upset about what you don't have or what you're going through, and be grateful for what you do have, and I'm not perfect at this, I have to remind myself this almost every day. Like, I'll get really frustrated when I'm not as successful as I want at something, or when I feel like I'm letting the team down. But like, at least I have a team. At least I'm doing something. I'm still breathing. So, mindset. What can you believe you can do, and how can you trick yourself to do the right thing for yourself and for other people? Those are the takeaways that I would say here. And if any of this resonates with you, I've been able to do almost anything I've put my mind to. Sometimes it's way harder. It takes way longer than expected. But if you believe in yourself and you apply yourself, whether it's bodybuilding, relationships, going vegan when you're 13 and have no clue what to eat, if you stick with it long enough, you'll get proficient. And connecting with others that have done it before so you can learn from them.
That's powerful. Thanks for sharing, man.
I'm going to have to bring you on my podcast so I can interview you, because
I'm
I feel like a jerk because I've only talked about myself.
One thing about being a podcast host, you realize it's not about you. 365 days of the year, I can make that about me. I can make that about my partner. I can make that about what matters to me. This 1 hour, hour and a half, 2 hours across the country that I spend with you is about you. And that's not nothing that's like a give or take or transactional. It's like it's service. That's how I look at it. And it's a service on both ends.
I agree. You said earlier on the porch that you started this for clout.
Yeah.
And maybe so. But now you have that responsibility. Every day you wake up, you have so many followers. You've got this. It might be fun for you, and it should be, but it's also a responsibility of who you're going to bring on here that's going to be able to help some people that need help and help shape the world. I think this spreading of, I've shared 20 years of knowledge and information on one topic about veganism with you that, man, I wish I had figured, like, it took me a while to find those things out. And then with the training and bodybuilding, that took 18 years to figure out that vegans can progress just as much as anyone else. It took hundreds of clients to, like, really believe that and with conviction tell you you can build just as much muscle, if not more, on a plant-based diet. And so I think what you're doing is exceptionally valuable. I think that is all that we can hope to do as humans. If we're not going to go back to like just hanging out in the woods and like truly primal living, if we're going to keep living in this way that is definitely not optimal for the planet, then what information and value and knowledge and inspiration, because sometimes people need to be inspired to change. What can we share that inspires people to do the right thing moving forward? So I think your podcast is a great example of that.
I appreciate it. No, thank you so much. It's definitely, it's at a point where kind of how we started, like, at first it's like just kind of your own bubble, but then it becomes bigger than you.
Yeah.
Kind of develops a life of its own. And it's like the world is on your shoulders, but it's a weight that you can bear, almost like Aragorn. So if I can bear it, then I'm gonna bear it, as long as I can.
And I hope we get to destroy the ring. But if not, we might be Boromir in this journey, you know? We might die fighting for what we believe in and for what we love. Might not make it to the end. Maybe that's not our spot in this story. But Boromir took 3 arrows. He went out like a champ.
Like a champ.
How do you want to go out?
Oh, and it's so beautiful about that though, because Boromir, he kind of was more corrupted, but it's like he was still remembered as a champ.
Yeah.
No one, like even Aragorn, no one talked about how his flaws and everything. It's like he went out like a champ, and that's how he was remembered. And that's kind of reminder of like, and shout out someone who said that, I believe it was Young Will. He said, I never like to judge a man for his past. I like to build him up for
100%.
who he wants to be.
100%.
Because I feel like that's the Boromir story. It's like we all have a Boromir in us, and sometimes if we allow it, we can let that part of us die, and we can be the Aragorn.
Or even the Boromir. Still.
We can still be the Boromir.
Because, like you said, like if somebody has done something horrible, if we don't allow a spot, now I'm not saying allow someone to re-abuse you or that we should just let pedophiles run free on the streets. I'm not saying that. But anybody listening to this has done something they're not proud of or that was not at their best moment, and it's, where do you go from there? I mean, hopefully you don't have to die in battle and get shot with 3 arrows to like redeem yourself. But if you're still here, it's not too late to change. None of us were born vegan. It's not too, I mean, there's a few. There's actually a few kids out there now. I got some vegan friends that have had kids in the last year. But most of us, 99.9% of us, were not born vegan. So it's not too late to change. And it might not feel like that much, but even one person can make a huge difference, especially if they stick with it for life. If you are vegan, like I want to remind people that are vegan, right now it's about 1% of the population worldwide, you have a huge responsibility, I think, with your physical fitness, with how you carry yourself, with how you talk to people, because in your circle, in whatever city you live in, when people think of vegan, they think of you. All my extended family used to make fun of me for being vegan, and now they think of me and they're like, look at what John did. Like, let's show what he did. Like, let's put this. Not all of them. Some of them wouldn't make fun of me, but the majority would. Didn't get it. Thought it was funny. But now all of them are, I think, at least proud of some of the accomplishments along the way. And now when they think of vegan, they get to think of me. And so for you, whoever that is in your life, maybe they're not going to go vegan, but we have to change perceptions first. We have to slowly break this down and show people that vegans aren't crazy or pushy or judgy. Show people that vegan food can taste good. Show people that vegan food can be healthy. Show that vegans can build muscle. That my girlfriend's Cuban. She makes awesome, amazing vegan Cuban food. Like, you don't have to give up your culture. I would never want anybody to give up their culture. I'm just asking them to stop killing baby animals for food or paying other people to do it. And it's uncomfortable, but it's doable. It's possible. For some people, it doesn't happen overnight. I think as long as you keep educating yourself, if you start down that trail, I knew the moment my friend said that, I was like, oh shit, like, I'm not going to be able to forget about this, and I was right. And I think it'll be that way for other people. They'll wake up now or they'll wake up later, but if you wake up later, you're going to wish you did it now.
As long as you got the ability to wake up.
I have to believe. I have to believe in goodness in people. I have to believe that the majority of people will be willing to do this. And then once we get the majority on our side and once money's on our side, like, I do believe this is the beginning of a revolution. If we woke up tomorrow and everything at every fast food restaurant, every grocery store was vegan, everything in your fridge and your house is vegan, like if everything that you could purchase was vegan, not because it was labeled vegan, like it was just everywhere, globally, but you had to go out and find a cow and shoot them or slit their throat and then cut them into pieces and then cook them to eat them. I think most people listening to this would be like, that's too much work. Not even that gross or that's inhumane. It's just too much work. I got food in front of me. It tastes good. It's healthy. It's cheaper. Having to go out and do it yourself, that's too much work. I think we're really not in a society of people that are inhumane or cruel. I think we're just in a very complacent society. I think it's easier to do it this way. It's, oh man, I was traveling. It was too hard to find a vegan option, so I just grabbed what I could at the gas station. I didn't feel like reading labels today. Oh, I had a hard day at work. I get it. We're not set up to succeed right now. We're set up to fail, and these big companies are making lots of money off of us, and they're going to keep doing that for as long as we let them. But anybody, even a 13-year-old kid, can change. So I have belief.
That's all we have. I know we say we want to wrap up, but you say uncomfortable, and you say that intrinsically you're an introvert.
Yeah.
When someone sees your appearance, it gives very outgoing or at least flamboyant a little bit with the green hair. You got the vegan tattoo. I had to ask that. Say that for last, but kind of, do you often get misjudged, or how does that kind of vibe with, I guess, who you see yourself to be?
Yeah, I get misjudged in a few ways. And I have to be careful, right? Because our perception is a lot. Your first impression of someone is usually their look. You know, like when I look at you, I'm gonna just be 100% honest here.
They keep it a buck.
I think I kind of like Bob Marley. Like I feel like the first person I can recall when I was like 4 or 5 that had dreads that I ever saw was like an album cover of Bob Marley. So like that's kind of like what my initial impression of you was like. Oh, he's like that kind, and you know it'll lead you astray more than it will lead you right. For example, I just talked to a guy yesterday at the gym. He's like, I'm glad I talked to you. I'm like, oh, okay, cool. He's like, yeah, you're actually smart. You're not just a meathead. And I'm like, what? He's like, well, I just assumed, like, you're so big. I just assumed that, like, that's all you knew how to do is lift weights. I'm like, you know Ronnie Coleman? He's like, yeah, I know Ronnie Coleman. I'm like, yeah, a lot of people don't know this. Ronnie Coleman graduated first in his class of accounting.
Accounting?
Accounting.
Sheesh.
He's smart. And then he went to work as a cop, and then he became Mr. Olympia. And now he made a ton of money doing business and real estate and other things like that. But, like, Ronnie Coleman was smart. Ronnie Coleman is smart. But people just saw his muscles and heard his kind of crazy voice and thought he was stupid. And so you'll lose more often than you'll win by judging people based on looks. With me, flamboyant, I think that's an active color. Like, I always wear 2 mismatched socks because I trained with this one girl that didn't care how she looked. And I admired her for that. Her shirt would be inside out with food on it more often than not. And one day she had Jaws on a sock on one foot, like the movie Jaws. And then I think she had like something completely unrelated, like Cookie Monster. So I was like, did you plan that? She's like, no, I gave up wasting time trying to find socks. I was like, I'm going to plan to not wear the same color socks. Like, that's cool. Like, you can have, I got Oscar the Grouch on one, I got Big Bird on the other right now. Like, I am a little flamboyant. And And I do that for a few reasons. I want to be approached about veganism. I want to be seen as a safe place to do that. So I always wear a vegan shirt, and I always had the vegan head tattoo. And if this is covered up, it's because I got a vegan hat on. So it's usually from a few angles. I got another vegan tattoo. I got kind of a hidden vegan tattoo. I got a V on my hand, so if you shake my hand, I got a vegan bracelet. Like, yeah, it's all over the place. I'm like, some people probably look at me and be like, this guy's gone off the deep end. Like, that is all he cares about. It's like, no, it's not all I care about. It's just like kind of at the top of the list because it's for our future of our survival of our species, to end the pain and suffering of trillions of animals and people and in the environment. So it's like all these things in one, inner health. Like, so I put it out there, but I used to, like, not even long ago, like 2 years ago, probably 3 years ago now, back when I was with that girl, Laura, I would wear all black. I was like, oh, it matches, and it doesn't get dirty when I eat, and yeah, I just kind of like it. Like, I don't accidentally wear, like, pink and red. Like, you're not supposed to do that. Like, I'm going to wear things that, it's just all black. It'll make life easier. I did not get approached. When you're like 250 pounds with a big beard, a black beanie, a black jacket, black pants, like, people are like, shoot, he's about to either rob a bank or join a motorcycle gang. Like, don't want to mess with that guy. So people wouldn't mess with me. I had the same thing at the gym. Like, this dude, like, talked to me. He's like, dude, I've been seeing you come here for 6 months. I'm so glad I talked to you. I thought you were like the world's biggest asshole, but you're really a nice guy. And I'm like, oh, shit. Okay. You know what? I know me. But I realized I got to change. And actually what helped wake me up, this might have been a few years back even, I have some black friends at the gym, and I used to work in law enforcement. And when George Floyd was murdered, prior to that moment, I thought all lives mattered. Because I had faced a lot of racism working inside the jail, directed at me for being white. And I do believe that jails and prison system in the United States is inherently racist. I believe that. I believed that then. But I had faced a lot of discrimination towards myself. And so I was like, well, yeah, Black Lives Matter, but all lives matter, of course. But like, I couldn't see the message, almost like have the bits there ever. Like, well, what about tomorrow? It's not the point, dude. It's like today matters. And with Black Lives Matter, like, how can we say all lives matter until we actually treat black people the same? Until we level up and like stop putting black people down? How can we be caring about everyone? Like, these are the more marginalized group, almost like with animals. Like, animals are more marginalized. Like, we gotta take care of them as well. And so that helped me realize, because I had this friend at the gym and I was like, man, you're always smiling. And he's like, I'm also black. Do you think I can walk around, especially like in a parking lot or in the gym, on the day I'm having a bad day and have a mean look on my face and scare somebody? Have some white woman call the cops on me? No, I smile every day, even if I'm crying inside, because I don't want to be perceived as a threat. And I'm just like, holy shit. I get it now. I get Black Lives Matter. Like, it was that moment, it was right in the same week that George Floyd was murdered, and I realized, like, he's not just my always good mood friend at the gym. He's having to put this on so that other people don't judge him the wrong way. And I think that started to help me realize as well about my own perception of how I wear and how other people might look at me. And so that's why I started wearing more flamboyant clothes, as you would say. Like, I get mistaken for gay a lot. And I'm like, it's fine. It's cool. Even Allie's like, are you sure you're not gay? I'm like, well, there was this one guy before you. And she's like, what? And I'm like, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. Like, I'm not gay, no judgment. I got a lot of gay friends. But I dress this way because it makes people feel safe to talk to me. Because I am not the vegan that'll go like poke somebody during their set and be like, you should go vegan. Like, I won't bring it up. I won't. I'll make it everywhere so that you can. If you want to open the can of worms and get my thoughts, I will tell you, but I won't go up and tell you what to do. It's an open invitation. It's almost like I'm open for business. You come down, I'm happy to talk. Yeah, because also, like, if I go up to some girl and like, hey, how many sets you got left on that thing? She's gonna be, I'm done. I'm like, you were in the middle of a set, and your notebook says you got 2 more. And she'll be like, no, it's yours. And I'm like, so now I have to be like, hey, so I'm not in a rush. I'm actually kind of just working on my phone. How many sets did you have left? And they'll be like, 2. Can get. I'm like, no, take your time. I'm just gonna go. And then I will go work. I'll just go work on my phone until they're done. Because if I come, hey, how many you got left? None. Every time. So like, sometimes I forget that though. Like, I'll be in a grocery store or something and I'll bump into somebody because I still think I'm that 13-year-old kid that used to get bullied that's like 120 pounds. I still think I'm small. I don't even realize always how much room. I walk into walls a lot because I just don't think I'm that big. So I dress this way to try and make it more approachable because I am very still much introverted. This is easy. Like I forget there's other people watching this or will be watching this. So I'm just hanging out with you.
Yeah.
Speaking on stage is actually easy now. I've done it so many times. It's pretty easy. I try to find one person and like kind of talk to them for a minute and then talk to somebody else. It took a lot of years to get there, like hundreds of times on stage. What's still really hard is to go hold a sign at a college that says like, do you support animal abuse? To try and start a conversation with somebody. That's still hard for me. It's still hard for me to make people feel uncomfortable. I don't like to make people feel, I'm an empathetic person. It makes me uncomfortable to make other people feel uncomfortable. But like I said, a long time ago, I realized sometimes you need to be made felt uncomfortable to change. I had to get uncomfortable about how I felt about Black Lives Matter to see it from a different perspective. And it sucks that for a lot of people that took somebody dying, and for a lot of people still haven't seen it. We've got some work to do in this country and around the world.
Well, as I think Roddy Cole used to say, ain't no one to it but to do it.
There we go. Lightweight, baby.
Lightweight, baby. I'm not gonna try to impersonate his voice. When I interview you one day, we'll hear it from the horse's mouth himself.
Yeah.
John, this has been amazing.
Thank you, brother.
Pleasure to meet you.
Yes, you as well. And get to know you next time. I want to bring you on ours.
Yes.
So, yeah.
Yes, let me know. Definitely, I have family in Daytona, so I will be in this area again.
Yeah.
And if you're ever in Chicago or close by,
might have to
you
head
can
out that
Rick
way.
it. You can use my equipment. I've done that before, and then we just make it your podcast.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. No, I've never been out that way. So.
You'll love it. Yeah, it's we went to Daytona, and basically, it's not that the vegan spot was bad. It's just we were spoiled.
Probably it just wasn't that.
I'm not gonna say any names.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna say any names, but Chicago is just known for its good food anyway too. So it's like it's very good over there versus everywhere else is we kind of had high expectations. But needless to say, you're welcome anytime you're in the city.
Yeah, we'll make it happen.
Like that.
All right.
Before we wrap up, how can you reach you on socials, and what final words do you have?
Pretty easy to find me. TheBodybuildingVegan, all one word, on pretty much all the socials except for YouTube. But you'll figure it out. You'll find me. If somebody doesn't have social media, maybe it happens. TheBodybuildingVegan@gmail.com. I'll answer any question. Pretty easy to find there. Final thing to think about. I tell this to everyone. Funny enough, I don't have kids and don't plan to, not biological ones at least. But if nothing has struck you thus far, maybe this will hit. We do not inherit the world from our parents. We borrow it from our children. Yeah, when you think of it that way, maybe there's some things you want to change.
That's deep.
It's not ours to get, it's ours to give. So, how do we want to hand it off? I'm trying to make it better before I hand it off, and I've got a lot of people like yourself that are taking time and energy to put this out there. So, yeah, I guess you can share this podcast. Get his word out there more. More people need to hear it.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Y'all heard it. Share the podcast.
Right.
Let's make this a better world, man.
We're doing it.
Yes, sir.
Every day at a time.
As always, stay hydrated.
Yes.
Stay breathing in that good ass oxygen. And most importantly, stay basic. This was amazing, man.
I'm so glad we got to do it.
fantastic.
Yeah.
This was an honor. This was spontaneous, but
I mean, I'm getting to the point where
thanks for being vulnerable, man. Thanks
Yeah.
for
a
lot of
made it
people-
easy to be vulnerable.
Thank you.
I feel like
Appreciate you, Juju, too, for watching all the. That's mine, though.
Right.
Right.
This
So,
one, 'cause I knew
yeah.
thank you everybody.
That's why I said